I'm going to give folks one more minute, and that'll make it 11:01, and then we'll officially start.
She's got bright yellow on. That's pretty.
Thank you. That was my goal. No, I'm just kidding.
You did, girl. You did.
Thank you.
Got a few more people coming in.
Yeah, Kim, I had to make sure Patty, the baby raccoon, was asleep. Otherwise,
Yeah,
we would have to see her in the video.
that would. I'm sure the students would like that. You know.
Oh yeah, she's a heartbreaker, that's for sure.
Millie may jump in at any time. She was not having it being outside, so she may jump in the shot here at any moment. So if she does, then she's cute. It's a good thing that she's cute.
And I hear Buddy just barking outside.
Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. And as other people join, we'll just let them in. We are really glad that you guys are here with us today. My name is Keisha Johnson, and I'm the Director of Admissions at Arkansas State University, Three Rivers. And I would like to introduce you first to our Chancellor, Dr. Steve Rook, and he's going to give you guys an official welcome and say a few words.
Thanks, Keisha. This is awesome, and I appreciate those of you who are joining us. Those who came on early, like we said, you do kind of get to see us in our real-world interaction with each other. But we're extremely excited that you're interested in attending Arkansas State University Three Rivers. Coming in at a great time with our affiliation with the system. We're going to open up some more educational opportunities for all of our students, and it's just a good time to be here. Two facts I always give everybody is that we have one of the lowest tuition rates in the state, and secondly, that our two-year graduates, their average salaries are more than all the other two-year and four-year colleges in the state except for two. So it's a great value, and your return on investment is greater than probably any other institution in the state. So we appreciate you being here. We're dedicated to making sure you're successful. And as you hear these folks the next few minutes, just know that if you ever need anything from me or from them, just reach out and contact us, and we're here for you. You are the reason we are here, and we're glad you're here. So with that, welcome, and you can take it back.
My apologies, I forgot I have to unmute me. Next, we're going to hear from Dr. Kim Armstrong, who is our Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. It's one of my favorite things to do, to tell you exactly what you need to know to be successful here at Arkansas State University Three Rivers. The information you're going to get today is not general information that you'll use at any other college. We want to make sure that you know exactly what you need to do from the first time you sit in that seat to the time we get a chance to celebrate you going across that stage. You'll hear a lot of information today, an awful lot. You're not going to remember it all. All I ask is that you look at the face of the people and remember to contact when you have a question. Our goal is to be your partner. We're not going to tell you how to be successful. We're going to partner with you on that journey to success. Thank you for choosing Arkansas State University Three Rivers, and enjoy this session of For Your Information. Look forward to seeing you on campus.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rook and Dr. Armstrong. The first person we're going to hear from about content information and what all you need to know in order to enroll and be a successful student at Arkansas State University Three Rivers is our Director of Financial Aid, Miss Angela Sexton.
Hi, everyone. This is so cool. I really like this. I think this is a great asset to what we've been doing. Even though we can't meet in person, I think it's great that we can actually see each other's faces and communicate with each other on kind of a different level. Some topics that I want to talk about today, I'm going to try to be as brief as possible, but still give you some good information, is 1, email, 2, scholarships, and 3, your Fafsa. So on email, it is very important because of the time that we're in right now. It is very important that you communicate via email. That's our primary form of communication at this point. The financial aid staff is constantly answering emails. We are responding just within, minutes, even hours of receiving emails. And if it goes to the next day, it's probably because that student emailed at 9 p.m. So we really are trying to do our best to answer all of the emails. I'm actually answering a majority of them so that our other members can work behind the scenes and get your stuff done for you for this upcoming summer and then even the fall semester. Your school email is our primary form of communication. And as far as the FAFSA goes, and when we receive that FAFSA, we will shoot you an email to the one that you included on your FAFSA and your school email, just in case you do not have that quite set up yet. But after that, we're going to primarily communicate with you via that school email. So it is dire importance that you, check that school email constantly, especially during this time when we can't be face-to-face and we're not in the office for you to come in and ask questions. But pretty much any question that you have, we will either find you an answer or we will answer you as soon as possible when we receive your email. That's something that we are really putting as a primary focus right now in my office. Scholarships. And if you have any questions, of course, I think Keisha's led up to some time that y'all can ask some questions. If you've heard other students and they have questions, just feel free to ask those as well. But it is more important than ever that you check your email and communicate via email. Scholarships. On the ASU Three Rivers website, I almost said something else. There's a page where you can actually go to financial aid and then go into scholarships. Feel free to surf through there and see what you might be eligible for. The deadlines for most have not approached yet. So those are something that you can actually go out, review, and then submit an application. You print the application and then you can, I was going to say turn it into us in the office. However, you can scan and email that, fax it to us. We will get all of the scholarship applications. And that's mainly for our freshmen, but there are some other scholarships out there listed as well. We do have a list of private scholarships and even the state. But when you look at the state scholarships, the best place to go to that is definitely adhe.edu. Again, that's adhe.edu and search for the scholarships. There are multiple scholarships and grants on the ADHE website that you can take advantage of. I would review them, and then if you determine that you're eligible or you think you're eligible for one of those scholarships, it's very important that you create a universal account and then communicate with the state regarding those scholarships. But if you have any questions in the meantime regarding any of that in the scholarships, you can definitely email us those questions as well. Let me check my notes. Hold on. All right. I guess next up would be the FAFSA. Right now we have a lot of nursing students who, and I'm just going this in kind of an indirect way, but the FAFSA that you need for summer is 1920. Okay, so if the 2019-2020 FAFSA is the one that you will need to have completed for the summer term. If you have done the 2021, that's fantastic. You're ahead of the game, or you're in midway game, but we are currently needing a 2019-20 FAFSA if you are planning on attending in the summer. The 2021 FAFSA will go into effect in the fall. Okay, so there's a lot of nursing students who have completed a FAFSA. They think they've done what they're supposed to do, and a lot of them have, but many of them I'm finding have done a 2021 FAFSA, and they're starting the program on May 26th, which means we will need that 2019-20 FAFSA. I do believe that the nursing administrators have sent out an email regarding that as well. So just be sure, once again, check your email and make sure that you're doing everything you can. Transfer students, I want to address this as well because some of you are not aware that maybe you need to send your FAFSA here. Maybe you've attended another college in the fall or the spring and you're going to transfer here. There goes a butterfly in my face. Transfer here from another school. And that's great, and we're welcome to have you, but we really need that FAFSA. So you have to go back onto your FAFSA, and you have to list us as a school to receive it. So that would, again, if you're starting in the summer, be the 1920. If you're starting in the fall, the 2021. We have not, I mean, there have not been any registered students just yet. That starts next week. So as soon as we start getting the students registered, then at that point, we'll start processing aid for all registered students as they come in. Be patient with us. This is kind of a slow process for us as we're doing, working from home and working remotely. A couple of us are going into the office occasionally, and we take care of as much business as we can at that point. But I just want you to know that if you're waiting on your file to be processed, when we receive your FAFSA, you do get an email stating that we've received it and stating if we need any additional documentation. You'll need to submit that additional documentation if it's needed as soon as possible. And that email will direct you to all of that. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email us. Financial aid at ASUTR.edu. Of course, mine is Sexton at ASUTR.edu. All of our email addresses are listed on the website. Of course, our phone numbers are too, but that's not really going to do you a lot of good right now. So just please communicate with us via email if you have any questions at all. If it takes us a little bit to get back with you, there's probably an abundance of emails, but we will do our best. With that, let me see if I've said everything I wanted to say. Yeah, I do believe I have. I will say, make a note on the scholarships. A lot of them, it's the 23 or better. So just review on the ACT. So just review those scholarships and make sure that you meet the qualifications, and then submit that out, and we'll take care of it. And we'll get back with you if we have any questions for you as well. I think that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
I have a couple of questions, Angela. What do I need to do if I'm a student to keep my aid?
Right now, that's kind of up in the air. If you're already a student here, and the federal guidance is coming down as far as the spring semester, and if you've had to withdraw or if you've had to drop a course or whatever the case is, they're making adjustments for that kind of stuff. But you need to make sure that you complete your classes, first of all, and completing a class means a grade of A, B, C, or D. It does not mean, an F is not completing, neither is an I. However, under normal circumstances, you have to have completed your courses, 2.0 GPA at least, and that's for federal aid. If you have scholarships, you need to be sure that you read your scholarship requirements. That is the student's responsibility to make sure that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing for that particular scholarship. But however, as far as federal aid, you have to have a 2.0 cumulative GPA. You need to complete 66.67% of your hours you enroll in each semester, and you need to complete your courses as quickly as possible over a 2 or 3 year period to make sure that you don't have a max time frame issue. But the main thing is just complete your courses. That's my best suggestion.
I got a couple more, Angela. If
Okay.
I fall below that 2.0, do I have to drop out of school? What do I need to do?
No, you do not have to drop out of school. If you fail to meet the 2.0 requirement the first semester, you do go on warning, and we will notify you if that happens, again, by email. So it's very important, once again, to check your email. When the spring semester closes, those emails will go out mid-May to all students who may have not met that requirement and what your next course of action is. When you, if you go into a warning period, it's just best that the next semester you do your best to try and bring up that GPA. However, if you're at a point where you're already in a warning, then you will be terminated for SAP purposes. So that means that you will then possibly have to file an appeal depending on your mitigating circumstance. COVID-19 will be, from what we've understood, a reason for an appeal. So just keep that in mind. We do not have all of our guidance yet as far as how the spring semester is going to be calculated, but we are getting that daily updates pretty often. So yes, you go on warning first semester. You can still receive your aid during the warning period. Once you're terminated, then you will need to speak with one of us or email one of us and determine whether or not an appeal is best for your situation. And
my last question, Angela.
I feel like I'm in my interview again.
I'm eligible for financial aid or a scholarship or a loan. Am I going to get my money as soon as I get to campus?
No.
When do I get my money? How is it dispersed?
The disbursement dates are listed on the website, especially for summer. I do not know them all, but they are listed on the website as far as disbursement dates. Now, we will process your aid. When we process your aid, we send it to the business office. When the business office processes it, it goes to the online bookstore where you will receive a credit so that you can charge for your books. That is a process. So the quicker that you can get that FAFSA here and get registered for classes and get everything done, the better it is going to be that you're probably going to have your books and so forth by the time school starts. May is a pretty quick turnaround, ending semester and going into another one, but you should be already processed. It's just a matter of getting you processed for the actual summer term. But that's the process. We process you. We send it to the business office. The business office sends it to the bookstore. The bookstore will then send you an email. Hence, once again, check your email that you can charge your books.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Armstrong, for the great questions. And thank you, Angela, as always, for providing us with wonderful information. I'm going to unmute everyone's mics. And if anybody else has any questions for Angela regarding financial aid, feel free to ask now, or any questions that you have throughout the segments, you can type in the group chat. I did put the FAFSA website in the group chat, as well as the financial aid email address and Angela's email address. So if you didn't get a chance to write that down while she was telling you that, then you can jot it down from the chat. So if you have any questions, I've got it opened up now, so feel free to ask.
Well, I had a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So if I'm a nursing student and I only did the 2021 financial aid, and I just completed the 1920 financial aid yesterday because I didn't know to do that one first, how long will it take, or would it even be in time for the summer semester, the May 26th date? I'm just getting afraid now that maybe I didn't do it in the right timing and it won't be in time for me to actually go to school.
No, you have plenty of time yet. We will receive that FAFSA. Mom, I'm not muted, correct? No, I'm not. Okay, good. We'll receive that FAFSA that you just submitted within 7 to 10 days, and then
Okay.
and you're not even registered yet. Are you doing the LPN? You're not even registered yet, so LPN or RN, you're not registered yet, so you still have time to get that FAFSA into us, and then for us to process it, because we won't process it until we see that you're registered. And our programs will communicate with each other once we start running them, and it will tell us who's registered and when and what files we can start processing. So no, you're not too late at all. I got something in the middle of my screen. You're not too late at all, and we'll get it processed for you as soon as possible. But if you get nervous or concerned, just feel free to email me, and I'll let you know the status of it at any point. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. So when will we register for the LPN? As far as for our aid and stuff, if we've already sent everything in.
If you have been accepted to the LPN or RN program and you're a new student, you will actually be registered by the registrar's office, and that will happen automatically. You won't have to go in and meet with an advisor and do your registration. Those registration forms will be sent to us, and we will actually register you for those classes. That will probably happen within the next few weeks, probably the next 3 to 4 weeks. So you can keep an eye on that. And we will send out communication to those students once they are registered. And for new students that are not in the nursing programs, Janet will talk about what that process is going to be here in the next few minutes.
Okay, and that's when we'll register for classes too, and as far as the LPN classes?
Yes, but your advisor in student affairs will actually register you for those classes
Okay.
for the LPN based on what we are sent from the nursing department as to what courses you'll need. So you should not have to do anything else once you've submitted all of your credentials.
Wonderful.
as far as admission and registration goes.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I will notate, once you are registered, the programs are going to start running next week for students who are being registered daily. So once you are registered and it comes through the different programs that we needed to come through, then we will process your aid. And when we award you, you will receive an email as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have a question. When you send all your information into the register office and I'm just missing like a transcript and I'm having a hard time getting that. But I'm also in school at CR, so I got to wait until we do our exam or whatever to get that final transcript from over there. So how do that work? Waiting on the transcript.
Janet, do you want to answer that one?
I was waiting. I didn't know if you wanted to take that.
I was gonna, which one's going to do it? There you go.
Yeah. I didn't want us to both start talking at the same time. So as far as turning in your admissions documents, and that was something I was going to address in just a few minutes, but all of you that are planning to start the nursing program or planning to start school, period, particularly the nursing program though, you do have to have all of your required admissions documents turned in before you would be registered for classes. So as soon as you get those final grades from CR, you would want to have that sent over, and chances are they probably even have a transcript, like our transcript request form.
There you go.
Can turn in and say that they want them, like you can turn it in right now even though the semester is not over, and there'll be an option for you to request that that transcript be sent once your final grades are posted. That way that the registrar's office at CR has that already on file, and once your final grades are posted, they will know to go ahead and send your transcript directly to us. And then as soon as our institution receives that transcript, they would go ahead and as long as if that was all that you were missing for admissions, then they would go ahead and complete the registration for the LPN program at that time. And so it is important that you all do turn in all of your required admissions documents, because that does hold up your registration process. Especially those of you that are not enrolling into the nursing program, you will meet with an advisor in student affairs, and so we will kind of walk you through that process of what to turn in, how to turn it in. I try to encourage students to bring in any of admissions documents that they can to that initial advising appointment. That way we can just go ahead and get it right in and take care of all of that. But those of you that are in the LPN program, as Ms. Johnson was saying, you guys will actually have your registration forms completed by the nursing faculty, and then they will bring those over to the registrar's office. So you guys don't actually meet in person to fill out those registration forms with an advisor in student affairs. So you guys have to, some of you are turning in admissions documents to the nursing department, and some are turning in admissions documents in student affairs. And so I know sometimes that can be confusing. And so we are working with the nursing department to make sure that if we have files in the registrar's office that they don't have down there in nursing, and vice versa, we're trying to make sure we communicate and share that so that the students aren't having to run back and forth.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And one thing Ms. Hunt mentioned, I want to really have you really want to stress upon: don't wait until you finish your program to start getting the documents to us. If you have transcripts at another college, go ahead and put that request in so that they can start processing that as soon as you finish the semester. That way you know you're not having something else to do and you're stressing over trying to make it by the deadline. Go ahead and put the documentation and the request in at whatever schools you're currently at so that they can be prepared to send that to us as soon as you finish your finals, okay?
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Who would we email to check and see if our documents, like what documents we're missing? Just to kind of get like a status on what we need for our account.
If you will email us at admissions, ADMISSIONS, at ASUTR.edu, then we can look up that information for you and see what we have in our system for you. And then we can get back to you and let you know what information you still need and what we've received. But we would have to do that individually. And I'll put that email address in the chat box as well. So that way you guys will have it. But it is admissions, ADMISSIONS at ASUTR.edu.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we encourage you to do that, especially now that most of us are working remotely. The staff in Student Affairs and the Registrar's Office are looking at emails and checking things daily while we're off campus. So we can still access your records, and either I or someone else in the office will call you back to let you know what we're missing, okay?
Okay.
So we're asking you not to call because we're not there, but please, please, please email. We are checking emails.
Okay.
Are there any other questions about financial aid before we move from Angela to our Director of Student Success? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remute everyone's mic, and I'm going to turn it over to Miss Janet Hunt, who is our Director of Student Success.
Hey guys, I'm glad all of you are here today. I'm really excited. As Keisha had mentioned earlier, it's nice to engage with other people. So there are a few things I'm going to talk to you guys about, and so I'm just I'm going to break it down in sections, but I'm going to cover information related to advising, information related to tutoring, disability services, VA benefits, and testing. Okay, so those are the things that I'm going to cover, and then I'll give you all time to ask questions about any of those things. So first, I will talk to you guys about advising. So with advising, as we were just talking about, admissions documents. So for admissions, just to clarify, we do require a high school transcript or GED transcript. We require a copy of your shot records with your MMR 1 and 2. And we require placement scores. So ACT, Accuplacer, Compass, as long as your test scores have been taken within the last 5 years, then they are still good. And we use those test scores to determine what courses you can take during your first semester. So particularly, we're looking at your English and your math, what you're eligible to take as far as that goes. We also, any students who've been to college previously, we do require official transcripts from all of your previously attended colleges. So even if you did not actually complete the courses that you enrolled in, or you did not pass the courses that you enrolled in at a previous institution, we still require those transcripts. There was a time also, any of you on here that have attended college previously, there was a time that you could enroll in an institution and not provide a copy of your test scores, but currently that is a new requirement. All students, whether you have ever attended college before or not, you have to turn in all of those same admissions documents. So official college transcripts, placement scores, shot records, and high school or GED transcript. And those documents can be emailed as well to that same admissions@asutr.edu if you need to send them that way. As Dr. Armstrong pointed out, right now we are not on campus, so I would hate for anybody to try to go up there to hand deliver anything or try to fax something right now, although we do pop in and out and try to check that. So if you do send something that way, that's fine, we will get it. But the quickest way to get it to us and get a response and confirmation would be email right now. So once those documents are turned in, it would be time for you to meet with an advisor to actually register for your classes. Now, again, we did just discuss that that's a little bit different for those of you going into the nursing program. Those of you going into the nursing program, as we mentioned before, the nursing faculty will take care of completing those registration forms for you and getting those to the registrar's office, and then they will register you as soon as all of your admissions documents are received. But for those of you not going into the nursing program, you would meet with a advisor in student affairs to register for your first semester of classes. So right now, since we are not on campus, all summer classes will be online. So we will be doing online summer courses, and we can register and advise you online. So normally, yes, you would come to campus and you would meet with us, but we could set up a meeting like this. We could use Zoom to set up a meeting and complete the advising appointment. You're welcome to email. I've had some students who are not able to do video chat for any kind of advising appointments and things like that. That's fine. Email takes a little bit longer. It might not get done just super quick because it's back and forth, but we can do it that way. So there are multiple, and I don't mind making a phone call. So if you wanted to email me, we can always schedule a phone appointment as well. So whatever works best for you guys, we're certainly capable of getting that done for you. So when you do meet with an advisor to get registered for classes, kind of some of the things that we're going to talk about are what other obligations you have outside of school. So do you work? Do you have children? Are there any other commitments that you have besides going to school? We're going to talk about your career goals. We're going to talk about what major would best fit your career and educational goals. And once we get you declared to a major, then we will look at that degree plan. All of our degrees and certificates have a degree plan that basically map out what courses you will take in order to complete that degree or certification. So we'll go over that degree plan, kind of show you guys how to use it, how you would keep up with your progress as you complete courses towards your degree. And there's also an electronic degree plan that will be attached to your account in your self-service account, which I'll talk about what that is in a second. But we'll go over your degree plan, make sure you're declared to a major, and then we will help you pick out courses based on those placement scores that we talked about before. So that will help us know what math and English courses you are eligible to take. And then we'll look at other courses that are required for your degree plan that you're eligible to take based on those placement scores, and we'll help you get enrolled that way. And our classes, like I said, for summer are online. We're hopeful that in the fall that we will have some face-to-face classes again, but there will always be online options as well. And so we'll help you pick out your classes, get you enrolled. Before that advising appointment is over, you will have a schedule. You'll have all of the information that you need for starting your first day of classes. There is a mandatory new student orientation. New student orientation is completely online, so that's something that you guys will be able to do, and during that advising appointment we'll give you specific instructions for how to access the online orientation and what the requirements are for making sure it's completed. You will also be assigned, as I believe Angela had talked about earlier, with student email. Student email is super, super important, and you guys will get your information for your student email, how to access it during that initial advising appointment, and it is very critical that you check it. All communication from all over campus will come directly to your student email, so it is super important that you do keep up with it. We will also give you information on how to access Blackboard. Blackboard is what we use for all of our online classes. Even some face-to-face classes will use Blackboard for assignments and things. So we will make sure that you have your login information for accessing Blackboard. And the other online resource for you is self-service. So all students will have a self-service account, and what that account has is access to your financial aid information. If there are particular documents that they are missing to be able to complete your financial aid processing, they will have those listed for you in your self-service account. You can view your billing information in self-service. You will have access to your course schedule, your unofficial transcript, your degree plan, as we talked about before. And so that will be in there, and will help you keep track of what courses you've completed and what courses you have left to complete toward your degree. And you will also be able to see who your faculty advisor is in your self-service account. So for your first semester, you meet with an advisor in student affairs to get registered. But after that, you will be assigned a advisor that is in whatever program area that your major belongs to. So if you are a arts and sciences major, then your faculty advisor will be somebody from the arts and sciences division. So you will have somebody, a faculty member that will then help you actually register for classes every semester after your first, and you will register through self-service. So what you basically do is you will go out to your self-service account, you'll check your degree plan, see what classes are next for you to take, you'll enroll in those classes, and that schedule request will go to your faculty advisor, who will look it over, make sure you've met the requirements to take those courses, make sure those courses are part of your degree plan, and then they'll approve your schedule or talk to you if something that you're asking to take is off of your degree plan or something like that. So that's how advising works. There's also another person that you guys would have, and that is a navigator. So students will be assigned to a navigator, and a navigator is not somebody that is necessarily just helping you register for classes or pick your classes or things like that. They're pretty much just your go-to person, no matter what your major is. They're kind of that person. Sometimes students have things that happen, or they have questions and they're not really sure who exactly they should go and ask. So this navigator kind of serves as that person. You can go to that person and they can point you in the right direction. They can point you to the correct resources that are appropriate for whatever your need is. They can get you whatever information that you need. That way you're not running around trying to find, who it is that you need to talk to. You may talk to, 5 or 6 people before you find the appropriate person for what your particular need is. So by having a navigator, we kind of eliminate that. You can go to that navigator. That navigator will remind you of important deadlines. They'll remind you of other important dates, other things to remember, and they serve as that person that you can go to and ask or talk to about anything. If something changes in your life, circumstances come up, and maybe you're a full-time student, but now you need to kind of go to part-time, they can kind of give you information and advice on who to talk to about that, and what steps to take, what resources we have on campus and things like that to help you be successful. So as I had mentioned, you guys, when you get ready to register, we can meet via Zoom or we can do it through email. So I'm going to give you guys my email address so we can set up any appointments, or if you have any questions about registration or advising later that you don't think of today, you can email me anytime. So my email is jhunt, JHUNT @asutr.edu. As Dr. Armstrong mentioned, we are all checking our email daily. So if you guys have any questions that you don't think of today, or like I said, if you get ready to register, then just send me an email and we will work out the details on how to complete that process, okay? Does anybody have any questions right now before I move on related to advising?
I have unmuted everyone, so if anybody has any questions for Janet, then you can ask that now.
I actually have a question.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going into the RN program, and I do have a co-requisite class I still need to take.
Mm-hmm.
Due to the circumstances and stuff right now, is that something I need to worry about this semester, or would you maybe suggest putting it off? And if I do need to go ahead and get it out of the way, how do I go about registering for that? I know you said the nursing department will do our schedules as far as the nursing classes go, but since that one is a co-requisite, what's my best option for that?
For your co-requisite, I can still help you register for that, or anyone in student affairs will be able to help you register for that. So which co-requisite is it?
It's the computer applications class.
Okay, that course will be offered online this summer. You are welcome to take, are you starting the RN program this summer for the first time?
Yes.
Okay, you are welcome to take it this summer, or you could take it in the fall. That is a course that is typically offered online. It also fills up really quickly online. A lot of students prefer to take it online. I believe there is usually, I don't know off the top of my head, I think I saw Miss Barr on this call, so she may chime in a second if I don't get this right. But we also typically have an evening option as well for that class. So there will be in the fall, hopefully, we're hoping everything will have evening and day classes again in the fall. But this summer, there should be an online section of it. And this fall, there will likely be an online section as well as some face-to-face sections in the fall. So it's really up to you. If you want to go ahead and knock that class out, then it is available, and I can certainly help you get registered for that.
Okay, so do I just go ahead and email you at this time about that?
I would. Yeah, you can go ahead and
Okay.
send me an email about that. Something else I didn't mention, but you just kind of helped me remember, is anybody that is on this call that is a current student, priority registration starts April 13th. Is that correct? Yes.
Correct.
Yes, that's Monday.
Perfect. Okay. So priority registration will run April 13th through the 24th, and starting April 27th, we will register new students. So any of you, I didn't mention that before, but that's important. So any of you on here that are current students, you can start registering for classes starting on Monday. And I do encourage you to do so. If you guys are current students, priority registration is super important. As I mentioned a second ago, classes, there are some classes that fill up extremely fast. And those are usually the classes that everyone needs. So I would definitely take advantage of priority registration and, notify us if you need help with the registration process. We can get you that information. Those of you who are current students. And like I said, if you're a new student, I can definitely help you. So just send me an email and we can work that out. So Kayla, as soon as you email me, I will get that taken care of for you. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
No problem. And Ms. Barr, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
And I have put Janet's email address in the chat box, as well as the link to the summer and fall schedule that's online. So if you guys want to start reviewing what classes that you might want to take, see what's available, and that sort of thing, then you can do so by checking out the online schedule.
Awesome.
Janet, I have a question for you, Janet.
Okay.
How will we know who our navigator is? When do we find that out?
So we will send them notification. Now, as far as for summer, we will still notify students who their navigator is. Probably about 2 to 3 weeks into classes. We'll try to wait, get everybody registered, make sure everybody's had time to kind of settle in and adjust schedules and things like that. And then we will send out notification letting students know who their navigator is. Now, starting in the fall, that process will be different. There are some freshman seminar courses that students are required to take, and that is how we will assign students to their navigators. So students who are in their first semester will take one of those freshman seminar courses, and the instructor for that course will serve as their navigator. So that is how we will do that in the future. Any other questions?
Okay, if there are no other questions, I'm going to mute everyone again and then let Janet continue.
Okay, guys. Two other services again, and then I'll give you guys a chance to ask questions about those before I talk about the last two. So tutoring is available for students online. You have a couple of options for online tutoring at the moment. So we have Blackboard Collaborate. So as I mentioned before, Blackboard is used for all online courses. And there is a feature in Blackboard that is similar to Zoom, and it's called Collaborate. So you can actually set up face-to-face meetings online using Blackboard Collaborate. So those of you, again, who are current students or who will be students this summer, you guys will have access, and in the fall, you guys will have access to Blackboard, and you will have access to tutoring through there. So we do have tutors that typically meet with students on campus one-on-one, or they do group tutoring sessions. And since we are all working remotely right now, they are not on campus, but they are still available to meet and tutor students via Blackboard Collaborate. We also have a tutor.com. Tutor.com is it's free to all of you to use, but it's a 24/7 access to tutoring. So there are tutors that you have access to in a variety of subjects through tutor.com. And so you can also access that through Blackboard. So that's another service that you guys have. So those of you that are up at 2 o'clock in the morning working on some homework and you have questions, you can still contact the tutor through tutor.com. So those are right now the two options we have for tutoring. As I had said before, hopefully, come fall, we will also have our face-to-face tutoring available again for you all. Disability services. So if there are any students that have any type of documented disability, then you would need to complete or have a licensed healthcare professional complete a form that we have available for you guys on the website. If you go to our website and you go to the very bottom, there's a link that says disability services, and on that page there's some more information about disability services, and it has a link to the healthcare professional form, and that is the form that you must have completed by a licensed healthcare professional. But just basically it documents what the disability is, whether it's a temporary disability or not, and how it impacts you in the learning environment. And then it asks them to make recommendations for what accommodations would best help you be successful given your particular disability. And so once we have that form, you would either email that form to me, or again, once we're all back on campus, you can bring that form by or have it faxed to us. But once I have that form, then we would go through the next, completing the intake process, which to do that, I would schedule a meeting with you that lasts anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, where we would essentially discuss your accommodations that are being requested. We would go over the disability services handbook that outlines your responsibility as a student, my responsibility as the disability coordinator, as well as faculty responsibilities. So once we go through that process and we've discussed the accommodations, we have gone over the disability services handbook, you're required to sign the handbook, and then we would actually set up those accommodations for you. And so instructors are then notified what accommodations a student is required to have. That's all the information that we share with instructors. Anything particular about your disability is not shared. All of that is kept confidential. Your records are kept confidential. They're not shared with anyone. As I said, the only thing that is shared with your instructors is what accommodations you're required to have in the classroom. So again, as with the advising appointment or anything like that, students that want to complete that process, I'm open to doing that in whatever format best works for you. We can schedule a Zoom meeting so that we can do it face-to-face. We can set up a phone appointment, or we can complete it via email. I can send you all of the documentation, and I can send you a long email explaining everything, and then you can just sign that disability handbook and send it back to me. Just whatever works for you guys. But it starts with that healthcare professional form is the first step. So once you get that to me, then we can kind of go from there, and we'll figure out how you want to go about meeting to complete the intake process. So before I move on, because the next two things I'm going to talk about I'm not actually the contact person for, so before we move into those things, does anybody have any questions about tutoring or disability services?
I have unmuted everyone's mic, so if anybody has questions for Janet before she moves forward, go right ahead.
Janet?
Yes.
Could you please let the students know when you want the forms back? The purpose of the form is to make sure that we have things in place for them before school starts. So could you please let them know when it's best for them to return the documents for their disability service?
Thank you. So as Dr. Armstrong just mentioned, we do ask that students turn in their documentation to us prior to the first day of classes. So typically within that first, like the week before classes start, or that very first week of classes. is when we need to really complete that process. That way we get that set up for you and you have it for the duration of the semester. That healthcare professional form, you have to do that for the initial setting up your accommodations. But for every semester after that, you don't have to return in that form or have that form filled out again. You would just contact me, set up a meeting, letting me know you want to continue your accommodations. But again, that needs to take place prior to the first day of classes. That way we have time to make sure all of your instructors know what accommodations you need. Sometimes some accommodations are really simple. So for example, extended test time. That's something that as soon as I send an email notification to your instructors letting them know that a student requires extended test time, that can be done. But other things take a little bit more time to set up. So for example, if a student needed an interpreter or if a student needed a note taker, that means finding additional resources to make sure that that accommodation is met. So we have to assign someone to be your note taker. We have to assign an interpreter. We have to make sure that those things are in place. And so it's really, really important, especially for your success, that you give us as much advance notice as possible so that we can make sure that by the time you walk into that classroom, you have everything in place that you need to be successful. And so that's why we ask that you get that documentation to us prior to the first day of class so that we can ensure that we have everything ready for you when classes start. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's not regarding that. It was regarding the placement scores. I didn't get a chance to ask that before.
That's fine.
Okay. So would the Kaplan test be considered as a placement score or?
It would not. Kaplan is specific to nursing.
Okay.
So yes, we would still require for general admissions, we require ACT, Accuplacer, or Compass, and it has to be within the last 5 years.
Okay. And if we have not completed those in the last 5 years, we would need to schedule that at the campus before school starts, or?
That's exactly the next thing I'm going to talk about.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. No, you're fine.
Two more things on disability, Janet. I have a documented disability as a high school student. Will I receive those same accommodations as a college student? And my second question is, if I don't have a documented disability, are there resources that are available at the college for me?
Yes. So to answer your first question, if you are a high school student and you have received accommodations while in high school, you will not necessarily get those same accommodations in college. There are two different laws governing accommodations provided in K through 12 versus higher education. I do have an information sheet that really breaks it down as to what the differences are, but I will highlight some key differences that students have. Some of the most frequent questions I get from parents of students in high school who receive accommodations is an IEP or 504 plan does not count as the required documentation for accommodations in college. The healthcare professional form is the required form for our particular institution. Another institution may have a different form titled something else, but they will also, in higher education in general, you will have a different requirement for what is the appropriate disability documentation, and it will not be your IEP or your 504 plan. Now, with that said, we do have students who do find it helpful, and sometimes it's helpful for us, for students to go ahead and turn that in with the healthcare professional form as additional documentation of what they have had previously, particularly if you're requesting an accommodation that that may be not one of the most commonly requested accommodations, but it might be something that we can provide at higher education. So those types of things we will look into on an individual basis. Everything with disability services is very individualized and caters to a particular student's needs. But as far as documentation goes, we do require the healthcare professional form. Some other things that are different from high school to college with disability services is students are in high school or K through 12 in general. A lot of times your parents are super, super active in what goes on with your educational experience and things like that. And that's great. We love for parents to advocate for their students, but in college, you have to advocate for yourself. And so we really, really encourage students to advocate for yourself. If you have questions about your accommodations, or if there's a particular issue going on in the classroom where an accommodation is not being met, or maybe you're not really sure if you understand why something is being done a certain way, or whatever the case may be, the student is encouraged to take responsibility to come to me, come see me, ask your instructor. We really encourage students to communicate with their instructors about any concerns they have in the classroom, even related to accommodations. But definitely let me know what's going on. I do talk to parents in some cases, but we have what is called FERPA.
It is, yeah.
So your educational records are protected, and by law, we cannot share any information about anything related to your educational record with anybody other than you without you having signed a FERPA release. So if you don't sign that, and then your mom or your dad or grandma or whoever calls me and they're wanting to know, hey, my so-and-so is not doing well in this class, I'm not sure if their accommodation is really being met properly, I can't talk to them about that information if there's not a FERPA release. So again, that is a huge, huge difference. And that's something that I face probably most commonly with students that receive disability accommodations in high school, and then now they're in college, is they're used to, their parent or grandparent being the person that kind of advocates for them or gets all the information for them. But in college, it is the student's responsibility to make sure that they have all of the information that they're supposed to have. With that said, there are a lot of other differences, but like I said, if you have more questions about that, I do have a resource sheet that I would be happy to share with you guys that really breaks down the key differences in types of accommodations that are allowed. I will go ahead and give an example of that. Some students are allowed to have reduced multiple choice on tests in high school. That's an accommodation that high schools can do. We cannot do that. We will not do anything that will alter the standards of the program or course that a student is enrolled in. So changing the content of a test is not an option. Allowing students to have extended time to complete a test is an option. So things like that. What was your other question?
About rewriting gold.
Oh, rewriting gold. So yeah, students that don't have a documented disability, or you don't necessarily want to have any documentation on file for other services, we do have a program called Read and Write Gold that will allow students that may have some type of visual impairment, or even it caters to learning styles. Some students like to have things read aloud to them, preferred to reading quietly to themselves. So with Read and Write Gold, you do have the ability to have the text on your screen read aloud to you, and you do have the ability to enlarge content on your screen if you need to make it bigger. So.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have a quick question.
Okay.
So earlier I mentioned going into the RN program and having to take that co-requisite class.
Mm-hmm.
To take that co-requisite, do I still have to turn in like a compass test, or do I have to take that just for that one class? If that makes sense.
Do you have previous test scores?
Yes.
But you've already
I've never had a computer class before. I'm not sure how old my compass test scores are though.
Okay. So here's the thing, Keisha, chime in if I have this wrong, but so you've already completed Comp 1, Comp 2, college algebra, all of your math.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So in that case, we do require a copy of test scores, but they do not have to be within the last 5 years, since you have already completed your college level English and college level math.
Okay.
Armstrong, Keisha, isn't that correct? She can
Right.
turn.
We have to have placement tests on. We have to have placement scores on file because we have to report those to the Arkansas Department of Higher Education.
That's the new one, yes.
And so we do have to have those on file. It's not going to be used for placement purposes for you because you're not taking English or math, but we do have to have them on file. So you will need to go ahead and
Okay.
send those to us.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Questions for Janet?
Yes. So are you saying that they have to be in 5 years or what?
Have you completed college level English and math?
Yes.
Okay. So Keisha, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the information distributed was that as long as they had completed their college level English and math, then as they could turn in placement scores that were older than 5 years, but we do still have to have placement scores, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So yes, so we do require placement scores for everyone, but if you have completed college level English, college level math, then those placement scores do not have to fit in the last 5 year window. So if you took it 8 years ago, that's fine, but we do still have to have it. Okay.
Any other questions for Janet?
Okay. Okay. So as Courtney asked, I'm going to go ahead and address testing so I can answer her question all the way. So testing right now, we are still testing students on campus. It is because of the social distancing requirements right now, we are not allowing very many students to come and test. We are limiting the number of students to come and test. But students can still currently test on campus, and I'll give you the contact information for scheduling that. We also are right now in the process of setting up remote Accuplacer testing. So 1 or 2 weeks, we are very hopeful that we will have a remote testing option for students who need to take the Accuplacer test. And so at that point, then you guys wouldn't have to worry about coming to campus or anything like that to take the test. And so we're working on that, and we will get that information shared. We'll have it sent out to all of our current students, but we'll also make sure that we share it on the website, and we will share that information using social media and things like that so that students have that information as soon as we have the remote testing option available. So there is a $10 fee to take the Accuplacer test. The Accuplacer test covers reading, writing, and math. Those of you who need to take that test, you can go to accuplacer.org, and that is ACCUPLACER.org. You can go out there to their website, and they have free study material on their website. The test is not a time test, and so you'll get your scores back immediately. But that's pretty much how that test works for anybody who's unfamiliar. And like I said, once we have the remote option available, we'll get that information shared in all areas that we can share, that website, social media, everything. The contact person for that is Ms. Shannon Finley. She is our testing coordinator. And you can contact her at sfinley, SFINLEY at ASUTR.edu to schedule an appointment for testing. So that's who you would contact for that. Does that answer your question, Courtney?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And I'll give everybody else a chance to ask questions about that in just a second. I'm going to cover this last topic first real quick. So VA benefits. If we have any students that are veterans or spouse of a veteran or child of a veteran, if you have any VA benefits, educational benefits that you would like to use, Shannon Finley is also the contact person for that. She is the school certifying official. So you can contact her at that same email to get your classes certified and have them paid for through the VA, through your VA benefits, what we require is your certificate of eligibility. So that's what you would need to turn in. If you're unsure of whether or not you are eligible for benefits, you can contact Shannon and she can point you in the right direction for that. We do have a web page on our website. So if you go to the ASUTR.edu website and go to Veteran Affairs, there is information on how to go about contacting the VA office in Little Rock to initiate the process of getting that certificate of eligibility, and they can check on your and tell you exactly like what your benefits are, what you're eligible for. But if you have questions about that or need help completing that process, Shannon can walk you through how to go about doing that. So if you know you're eligible and you have a certificate of eligibility, then that's what you need to get started. If you don't know, but you think you might be, then just go ahead and contact Shannon and let her help you figure that out. Does anybody have any questions about VA benefits or testing? Oh, I guess everybody's still muted. Can you, Keisha, unmute them in case anybody has questions? Sorry. Anybody have any questions about testing or VA benefits? I think everybody's probably tired of hearing me talk. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I feel like I talked a whole awful lot. Sorry, Angela. I totally went way over the time that you took. All right. Well, I'm talking now, and I will let whoever's next go.
Thank you so much, Janet. I didn't think that you were ever going to end. No, I'm just kidding. I really appreciate you giving some great information there. And next, I have Mr. Matt Cummings, and he's going to talk to you guys about student activities. He is our student activities coordinator, so he gets to do a lot of the really fun stuff with you guys. Not that everything that we do is not fun, but Matt is very, very heavily involved in student success and student activities. So I'm going to let him give you guys information about that. Matt, you're muted.
Yes, I'm here. Can everyone hear me? Hello, everybody. Welcome to my front yard. Everyone's having a fabulous day. So, again, like Miss Johnson said, my name is Matthew Cummings. I do several tasks at the college, one of those being student activities. We want you to have an enriched environment here at ASU Three Rivers. So we want to make sure that we give you not only your classroom instruction, but also things to do and get involved on campus. So one thing we do, we have a student government association. Student government is kind of like the body of student activities, the governing activities. We do all sorts of stuff. In the fall, we host a fall festival that typically has somewhere around 800 community members come in, and we do a haunted house or a costume contest, and we do trick-or-treating, and we do all kind of fun stuff like that. We also do different things for students in general. So we provide free meals once a month at our meetings. So we invite you to come and join us. We entice you with pizza or sandwiches or something for you all to come in and listen. It is a student-led organization, so we have elections. They'll be in the fall, so if you're interested in being in student government, you can join. You're automatically a member of student government just by being a campus. For tuition and fees you pay to be a member of student government. But if you want to be an officer or representative, we encourage you to do so. There are scholarships available through SGASL, so if you need to find a way to help pay for college, SGA could be an opportunity for you as well. We do leadership activities. We take a trip up to the 4-H Center in Ferndale and do an overnight trip, leadership building with other community colleges in the state. Actually today, if we would have been in school today, I would have been at the state capitol with a group of students for ACC Community College Day at the state capitol. And that's really one of my favorite days of the year because we get to interact with other colleges. We get to meet our state representatives, the governor, and it just kind of gives you an idea of how state and local government works. But that's all been kind of postponed indefinitely till next year. So every year about April we do that. Student activities, though, we do have several clubs and organizations on campus to get involved with. One of our newest clubs is Dungeons and Dragons, D&D club. They're very active. They have a group of students that come about every day and play Dungeons and Dragons. We are starting an esports team. So if you like video games, before the semester ends, hopefully we will have all that confirmed and in place. So we will have options for you to play. If you really don't want to compete in video games and you just want to come out and play and socialize, we'll have times available for that. If you do want to be on the team and compete, we plan on competing against other colleges. So we are going to be a collegiate team. Other than that, we have a nursing club, mechatronics club. We have a business organization club. We have an honor society club, PTK. And we're always looking for other opportunities for clubs and organizations. So if there's something that you have done at your high school, previous college, or in your workplace, if you just want to kind of lead the efforts and bring those ideas to me and say, hey, this is something I would like to get started or get involved in, we can look into it and I can kind of lead you down that road of how to get that going, and we'll support you on that. So we want to make sure everybody is having a good time. We know college is not just about what you learn in the classroom. It has a lot to do with the networking. I was a ASU Three Rivers student, graduate. Went off and graduated from Henderson with my bachelor's degree. And I happened to call my math teacher, Mr. Sims, when I graduated from college and said, I would really like to work there. I like ASU Three Rivers. And so when the opportunity came, I was able to kind of network that way. So, and now I work there. So it's all, that's how the roads led me down. So, we are having a fun talent show. So we are having to think outside the box right now. Just like this FYI online event is going. So right now, if you follow ASUTR SGA on Facebook, starting next week, we are going to be posting students doing their most unique and greatest talents. So far, I have students that have programmed robots. I have singers. I have dancers. And I'm kind of looking forward to whatever else I get. I've encouraged others. They can do a TikTok. They can do a cooking demonstration. They can, whatever your talent is. The winner is going to win an iPad. And second place is going to win some toilet paper. So we're going to make sure that everybody gets the good stuff as a prize. So that's a joke, but really, we asked yesterday in our meeting. We have online meetings right now. So if you become a student member, you will be able to meet in person or online going forward from this point on. But if you just want to come check out our students and doing their talents, starting next Tuesday. The videos will be posted online. They'll be posted online for a week. The student that receives the most likes on their video will be the winner. So does anyone have any questions about that? We're still muted. Anybody?
I have unmuted everyone, so if anybody has any questions for Matt, please feel free to ask them about any of the student activities.
You're breaking up a little bit, Keisha.
I said everyone is unmuted now, so if anyone has questions for Matt, feel free to ask at this time.
All right. Well, I'm here to support you. Feel free to reach out to me. I do, like I said, a lot of things at the college. So whatever I can do to support you and make you a successful student, that's what I'm here for. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you. I'm missing being on campus. I can get used to working in my pajamas, but that's not formal wear, appropriate dress at the college. So, but whenever you decide to get to ASU Three Rivers, look me up and we'll have some fun. So hope everybody has a great semester and a great summer.
Thank you so much, Matt. I have provided Matt's email address in the chat box. I also provided the SGA name, Facebook page, ASUTR SGA. And if you guys have other in the chat box, I tried to respond to everyone. So if for some reason I did not get back, that to me because I have tried to do those. I'm going to meet everybody again and talk to you guys a little bit about a few more resources that haven't been covered, and then about admission, and then we'll have another time for question and answers. So let me mute everyone. Okay, I think I'm still unmuted, so that's good. Okay. So a few resources that haven't been talked about yet. Janet covered a lot of them, and just to kind of go over what she had mentioned before, she talked to you guys about the navigator system. So each of you will be assigned a navigator, whether you start in summer or whether you start in fall. And that's exactly what the name says. It's your person that will help you navigate the system and navigate processes. It's your go-to contact. Your go-to person. If you don't remember half of what we said today, but you think there's something that one of those people said that was important, and I remember that they have tutoring, but I don't remember how to access it, then contact your navigator, and your navigator can connect you with that resource and make sure that you have what you need in order to be successful. So that's kind of their purpose. They'll also remind you of important deadlines when you need to register for the upcoming semester, financial aid deadlines, SAP satisfactory progress requirements, and things of that nature. So we'll just kind of help you the best way that we can for you to be successful, because our primary goal is to not just see you come to campus or attend online, but we want to see you graduate. We want to see you earn your degree or certificate. And we also want to help connect you to some jobs. And that's another resource that we have on campus. We do have a career center that will help you with resume writing, with interview skills. We have a listing of job opportunities for that. Many of our programs, especially in the applied science areas, have some internships available with them. And so you've got a lot of really good opportunities to get not just classroom experience, but also experience in your job field and outside of the classroom with things like that. that Matt talked about with your student activities, and then also with internship opportunities within the academic piece of your program. So we really want to make sure that you're prepared when you go out into the workforce, and that you're able to be successful and be a great representative of Arkansas State University Three Rivers. A few other things that we have for you, Janet talked about tutoring and disability student support services and testing. I also wanted to tell you that for any of you guys who are parents, we have a career pathways program, and that will give parents who are eligible assistance with gas and childcare, and also some tuition and books assistance. So if that's something that may interest you, then you can email Johnny Mitchell, and her email address is jmitchell, MITCHELL, at ASUTR.edu. Janet, do you mind typing that in the chat box? I see you, that's probably what you were already doing because you read my mind like that a lot of times. But yeah, if you can kind of make those notes. Johnny Mitchell is the Director of Career Pathways, and she'll be happy to help you and point you to the application for that and what documentation that you'll need to determine your eligibility. But it's a really great resource and program for students who have children. We also have TRIO Student Support Services, and that program is for students who are low income or first generation, or students with disabilities. And so Virginia Smith, Smith at ASUTR.edu. She's our director of that program. And so if you have questions or think you might qualify for that, then contact her. They have, they will assist students with some cultural experiences and trips. They do transfer student services. They take our students to four-year universities and do some tours and assist them with the transfer process. They also have their own tutoring and lab space. They have some scholarships available as well. And then they have a series of workshops, both Career Pathways and TRIO have a series of workshops that assist our students, financial planning and things of that nature. Study skills and a lot of really good resources for our students. So those are some great things that you can take advantage of while you're on our campus. We also have a food bank, food and clothing bank for our students. Right now we're doing that once a month. But by appointment as needed, because we recognize that in these times, a lot of times our students are in need of those services and items. And so those are free to our students, and we want to make sure that you guys have the resources you need to be successful. In addition, we also have a health center on campus. Right now, they're not seeing patients at the moment just because of the COVID-19 crisis. However, typically we have both mental health counseling. We have a certified mental health counselor, as well as a graduate assistant that will help with mental health counseling. And then we also have a nurse practitioner who is in our health center that can write prescriptions and all, and that's on a sliding scale cost for our students. So we're, I believe, the only community college in Arkansas that has a health center on our campus. Dr. Armstrong can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but we're really excited to be able to offer those services to our students. We are also starting a student leadership program in the fall semester, so we'll have some more information about that program for our students in the fall. We're still planning that at the moment. And then Janet also talked about our Read Write Gold resource that we have for students, and that can be located through Blackboard, and that is a downloadable toolbar that students can use. So we're really excited for students to be able to use all of our resources that we have on campus. And like I said, if you don't remember exactly what we talked about, you can contact your navigator once that navigator is assigned to you. or you can always contact any of us by email. And I have put those email addresses in the chat box, so you can go back and look at that. If you don't remember who is responsible for which area, you can email any of us and we'll forward it to the right person. Or you can use the general email, admissions@asutr.edu or financialaid@asutr.edu. The next thing I want to talk to you about, well, actually, let me unmute everyone. Does anybody have any questions about the resources that we have on campus? All of you guys are unmuted now. Any questions about resources?
No.
Okay, I'm going to mute everybody back, and I'm going to talk about admissions real quick, and then we'll have another time for questions. Okay, so for those of you who have not applied for admissions, you can do so completely online, and it's asutr.edu/apply, APPLY. We are still processing applications on a regular basis. I had one student that sent me a private chat that asked if I applied on the website when it was codo.edu, do I need to reapply again? And that's a great question. There's no need to reapply if you've already applied once. We transitioned all of those applications over in our system, so we do have your information. There's no need to do anything, any additional applications at that point. Also, if you are a student with us in our Career Center or in the DEAL program or taking a concurrent course, you don't have to reapply. We already have you in the system. We will want you to send us updated credentials, so you can send us your updated high school transcripts, test scores, shot records, and all of that, and we'll get that processed for you, but you don't have to reapply. So everyone needs to submit the following, and Ms. Hunt talked about this a little bit earlier. Everyone, due to new ADHE requirements, we have to have a high school transcript or GED student scores on every student. So even if you've attended 3 or 4 different colleges already, we still have to have your high school transcript or GED scores. We also have to have test scores. So you'll need your ACT, your SAT, Accuplacer, or Compass that has been taken within the last 5 years. And as Ms. Hunt said, if you have not taken the Accuplacer and still need to, you can contact our testing coordinator, Shannon Finley, sfinley@asutr.edu, to schedule an appointment with that. And her information is further up in the chat box from earlier. And we will need official college transcripts from any college that you've attended, even if you attended and withdrew, if you attended and failed your courses and don't want to use those, if they're not applicable to your current program, that's okay. We still have to have them. It's not going to keep you from the fact that you withdrew, or if you didn't make great grades or anything like that, that's not going to keep you from being admitted. But we do have to have those on file in order to complete your admission process. We also have to have that on file for financial aid purposes. So you'll want to get those submitted as quickly as possible. One question that I had that was directed to me during the previous sessions is, what if I accidentally had my transcripts sent to us before I knew that I wasn't going to be able to hand deliver them to ASUTR? Contact me and we'll work with you on that, and we can get you to scan those in or whatever it may be. But do contact me first, kjohnson@asutr.edu. Let me give you permission to be able to open those, and maybe we'll set up a Zoom session or something so that I can see that it is an official transcript. Whatever we need to do, we are being flexible as much as we can during this time because we're not physically on campus to assist you. And I know that that makes things a little bit harder, but we want to do what we can in order to be able to provide you with excellent service and be able to get you admitted and registered. We will also need immunization records. The 2 immunizations we're looking for is 2 MMR vaccines. You may be able to get these from your high school, from your healthcare provider. from your county health department, or potentially from another college that you attended. So you should be able to get those as well. Additionally, once we have you registered for classes and declared to a major, you will have access to an online degree plan that you'll be able to look at through self-service. And Ms. Hunt talked a little bit about that. Once you get advised and have that advising appointment, declare your major, then you'll be able to follow that each semester, and you'll be able to see what classes you've taken, how that fits into your degree plan, and then also what classes that you still need. Each of our degrees actually, or each of our certificates build up to a degree, to an associate's degree. And we have a couple of different kinds of degrees. So we have the Associate of Arts degree in General Education. And that degree is designed for transfer. So for those of you who know that you want to go to a 4-year university and receive a bachelor's degree, this is the perfect degree for you. It's general education, so it's all of those basics, like what people typically call them, all of your general education classes. And depending on what your major is going to be at the 4-year university, we can actually help you to decide which elective classes you want based on what prerequisites you'll need for that 4-year degree. So for example, if you're planning on going into the medical field, pre-med, then part of your electives, you're probably going to want to take Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2, Microbiology. If you're going into psychology, then you may want to take an abnormal psychology class. You may want to take some additional sociology classes that will go very well with that degree and will help you as you get into your 4-year degree. So that's something that you'll want to talk to with your advisor and also with your navigator. And if you know where you're wanting to transfer to, let's say you automatically know that you're going to come to ASU 3 Rivers for your first 2 years, and then you're going to transfer to Arkansas State University, Jonesboro for your junior and senior year, then we have actual degree plans so we can show you how your courses from ASU 3 Rivers is going to transfer into your degree plans. And we have those built with most 4-year institutions. A common question that I get is, now that we're a part of the Arkansas State University system, can students still transfer to other 4-year schools that are not part of the ASU system? And that answer to that is absolutely. So there are some transfer scholarship incentives if students transfer within the ASU system. But there are transfer scholarships available to all of the 4-year institutions, both public and private, across the state. And we can help you with that transfer process. We can help you with your transfer scholarship applications. Typically, those start around a 3.25 GPA at ASU 3 Rivers. So you'll want to keep that in mind as you enroll and make sure that you're really keeping those grades up. Take advantage of the tutoring. Start at the very beginning of the semester. Don't wait until you're really struggling and having a hard time with that. Go ahead and enroll in tutoring. There is no shame in going to tutoring and accessing that resource. It is a free resource for you, and all it can do is help you. And then if you decide that you're being really successful in the class and you don't need it, then that's fine, and you don't have to continue with it. But go ahead and sign up and start it from the jump so that you don't get behind, especially if you're doing summer classes and you're having the online courses. If you're not used to taking online courses and you're not used to having to be really disciplined and make sure that you are completing your course on schedule and on time, that's a really good resource to kind of help you stay on track. And make sure that you're being successful before you get behind, because those summer classes are 10-week classes, and that's not a long time. And if you get behind and you aren't doing what you need to do for even 1 week, that's a 10th of the class. So it's much shorter than your normal fall and spring courses, which are 16-week courses. So you'll want to make sure that you do that from the start. Additionally, we have another associate's degree that is designed for transfer if you're planning to go into an area of business, and that's the Associate of Science in Business. And what that will do is that will get all of your general education courses as well as your pre-business courses. So things like Accounting 1 and 2, Business Calculus, and micro and macroeconomics, and those courses that are all required for any degree in business, whether you're going into marketing or management, human resources, entrepreneurship, any area of business, finance, economics. So just whatever you're planning on doing in that business area, the Associate of Science in Business is a really great transfer degree. And it is also one of the guaranteed transfers. So it and the Associate of Arts are both guaranteed to transfer to any four-year public university in Arkansas. And that's not just because Keisha says so. That's actually a state law. And those have been very programmatically designed for you as students to prepare you for that transfer. And all of the four-year schools have agreed that those courses are equivalent to what you would take at their institution. So they are guaranteed to transfer. If you transfer with one of those two degrees to a four-year school, then you will automatically be transferred in at junior status. So you will not be required to take any freshman or sophomore level class unless it's a specific prerequisite for one of your major or minor classes that you have. For example, if you are majoring in math and you don't have a calculus class when you transfer, that class may be a sophomore level class that you would need to take. Hi, I'm sorry, Millie is here and she wants to say hello. Hi. Anyway, so that would be an exception if you needed to take a lower level math course that's a specific prereq to that major in math, for example. Then we have associate's degrees that are designed to train you for the workplace. So those are Associate of Applied Science courses. And we have a lot of those are things like our nursing courses. We have a technical certificate in our practical nursing and an Associate of Applied Science in registered nursing. We also have welding, mechatronics, which is a lot of our business and industry uses that for things like hydraulics and pneumatics, and you'll learn about, it's a lot of kind of mechanical engineering in an applied science type way, so it's very hands-on. And our welding program, you'll earn welding certificates along the way as well, certificates of proficiency and technical certificates. Then we also have Associate of Applied Science in our business area. So if you're wanting to go directly into establishing your own business or working for a business and not planning to receive a bachelor's degree, then you can do an Associate of Applied Science in accounting or management, medical office technology or medical office administration, which can also include medical coding and medical terminology if those are things you're interested in. Then we also have criminal justice, and I feel like I'm leaving one out off the top of my head. Maybe that covered them all. But so those applied science areas, like I mentioned earlier, most of them have internships that are built into the program. So you really get some hands-on experience in the classroom and then also in the workforce. So these are great programs for you guys to choose from. So regardless of what your academic goals are, ASU Three Rivers has a really good option for you. Matt mentioned earlier that, and Dr. Rook as well, that we are a very good low-cost option. And so for those of you who plan to get that bachelor's degree, we're about half the price of a four-year public institution and about a fourth of the price of your four-year private institutions. So you can save a lot of money on those first 2 years. And like Angela said, we do have freshman scholarships available. We also have an honors college that starts at a 23 ACT score. And what we're looking for is great academically inclined students. They do a lot of critical thinking activities. They do a lot of group work presentations. Ms. Tricia Barr, who's our Dean of Learning, is the coordinator for our Honors College as well. If you have questions about that, I know she would love to talk to you guys about it. It's a fantastic program. They're a very close-knit group. They do service projects for our community and for our campus. And so there's so much opportunity for you as a student at ASU Three Rivers. So regardless of what your goals are academically and professionally, we definitely have something for you. I'm going to unmute everyone. And so if anyone has any questions for any of the speakers or just general questions, feel free to ask at this time, and then we will answer anything that we can. Anyone have any questions? Okay, I think that means we all must have done a fantastic job. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to meet you guys, see you guys in person, hear you guys, and be able to still interact with y'all as we're not able to do so in person. We will be scheduling some more calls on some specific topics in the near future. So if there's something in particular that you would like for us to do a Zoom session on, email me, either my kjohnson@asutr.edu or admissions@asutr.edu, and let me know what you guys would like to have some sessions on, and we're going to have some more of these that you can jump on, and we would be really excited to talk to you. So we look forward to seeing you on campus, to helping you get admitted and advised and registered, and helping you with financial aid and plugging you in and getting you involved on campus. So thanks, you guys.
All right, I had one more question.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
had said about a high school transcript, so how can I communicate with you to do that transcript?
Absolutely. So you can just email me, kjohnson@asutr.edu, and we'll make that work. We'll figure out the best way to get that transcript to us.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions, you guys?
Well, that's it.
Thank you all so much, and I'll hang around for just a second in case anybody has any other questions, but otherwise you're free to log off, and have a great day. Stay in, stay safe, wear your masks if you have to go out in public, and we hope to see you guys soon.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Daddy, give me her toy. Yeah. Let me give you this. Get out. No, 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 no.